midnight blue.
All right, so you step out of your midnight blue Chrysler and you hand your keys to the valet at the Vancouver Art Gallery, Gallery of Fine Arts, right, where there is a gala going on called, I believe it was Midnight Chronicle, something along those lines. Amber. In any case, you received a ticket from one of your compatriots in the coven of the Order of Hermes, so to speak, your little group of mages that you associate with at times. And one of them gave you a ticket to this art gallery. So you're standing in line outside of this big white marble building. Inside, you can see bright lights, chandeliers, beautiful people lined up outside, inside, smoking their vaporizers and their cigarettes outside, sipping champagne inside. You can already feel the buzz in the air. This is a pretty big event. There's a lot of people here. You're in the Lights District, which is the upper class area where the citizens of Vancouver go who are well-to-do, young, beautiful, fashionable, classy, connected to the arts or to the museum, which is right across the street. So on the other side of the street, you can see the Vancouver Museum of arts and sciences. So you have the big art gallery on one side where you're going tonight, on the other side the equally impressive museum, which form the center of the Lights District. So in front of you, you see a young couple, short blonde hair on the guy, chatting with his beautiful girlfriend in the red dress. They go up, show their ticket, and they're on their way in. The relatively large and heavily built, brown-skinned and bald security guard looks at you and asks for your ticket. You present it, he nods, and allows you to enter. You walk up the courtyard past the flowering trees, or rather, fall trees, the leaves starting to turn brown already. And you go inside and pass another set of security guards on either side of the door. And all of a sudden you're in the foyer and you're washed in noise and music. And again, you see attractive young men and women carrying trays of hors d'oeuvres and champagne flutes. People everywhere dressed in their finery. On the walls, huge paintings and portraits that you can not clearly see from where you are, but you can already tell they're pretty impressive with big gold frames. And there's a series of statues in the foyer, big black statues carved out of what looks like ebony or some kind of black onyx. Two big stairwells go up on either side of the foyer to higher levels of our gallery. You are now free to take whatever action or series of actions you wish.
All right, so I'm at this gallery. Why am I here? I feel like there's a piece of art here that has something to do with the Order of Hermes. So right now I'm like just casing out the place and I'm looking for a very specific painting done by Leonardo da Vinci. Can I do that? Is that something
You can. So the way this works is any action you want to take is generally going to come down to a combination of an attribute and an ability. So for something like what you're describing, an attribute you might use would be perception, right? You have a perception score. So what is your perception score?
Two serious in perception.
Okay. And do you have any points in art as a knowledge or history or occult?
I have 5 points in occult.
Okay, so go ahead and roll occult 5 plus perception 2. So that means your dice pool is going to be a total of 7. So you're going to roll 7 d10s, and your task right now is to be able to identify in this museum which artwork is the particular significant occult artwork that you were sent here by your order to find.
Roll 7d10.
And your success is going to be a 7 or higher. So you just tell me how many rolls you got that were 7 or higher, and note to me if one of them was 10 or 1, because those are going to be either critical success.
I got one that was I rolled 10, 8, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1.
Just mention what is above 7.
I got 3 above 7, one of them being a 10.
So the 10 and the 1, the 10 and the 1 will cancel out because the 10 is a critical success and the 1 is a critical failure. So then subtract the 10 and the 1, and then how many are above 7?
Two 8s.
So you look around, right? And as you're walking through the crowd and kind of weaving between these people, you see a matronly woman with square glasses and a purple dress, looking at this one artwork, and you look at it and it seems to show devils or demons, circling above a burning medieval village. It's a powerful piece, but this isn't what you've been sent here to look for. You look at one of these pyramidal, or rather totem pole type sculptures of black stone, three kind of frightening faces carved one atop the other. Again, has kind of a demonic vibe. This one seems interesting to you, but you don't think this is what you've been sent to look for. The style isn't right. It seems about 100 years off the timeline you're looking for. You continue to weave around, and you notice, towards the staircase on the right, a piece of artwork that kind of catches your eye, and there's something about it. So you go up and you approach it, and you notice that this appears to show a forested scene at first. It's just a pastoral forested scene with a woman, maybe a Madonna or a Virgin Mary type, European woman with a blue head covering holding a baby. And at first, that's it. But there's just something unsettling about this painting. It seems to be just a pleasant image of a mother holding her baby in front of a forest. And then you realize what it is, right? And you see something that you're not sure other people could necessarily see, which is that in the background of the forest, there's some kind of dark, shadowy figure with horns. You notice it's kind of like maybe a goat or a man goat. And it's weird. You can't quite look at it. You can see it out of the periphery of your vision, but when you look at it, all you see is kind of an ominous dark spot. But when you look back at the woman, now you can't avoid it. There's this weird, shadowy horned figure in the background. And you notice that this does appear to be in the Renaissance style. So it could be consistent with the artist you were sent here to look for.
Right. So this painting catches my eye. I see this shadowy figure in the back that's really what drew me to it. And I realize that this is it. This is the one. This is what I was looking for. On the back side of this, I've been following a set of clues, and on the back side of this painting is supposed to be a map. So I need to now figure out how the hell I'm going to leave this place with that painting without getting caught.
So as you're contemplating this, you feel a gentle kind of touch on your shoulder, and you turn and you see a pretty young woman with circular glasses and strawberry blonde hair and kind of a black uniform of sorts that the art gallery attendants has, and she's offering you a tray on which you can see, egg dishes with little bits of bacon and olives, cheese, meats, as well as flute champagne, as well as red and white wine. And she says, "Sir, would you be interested in an hors d'oeuvre or a beverage?"
Oh, and I say, yes, absolutely. I take one of everything.
So you take a napkin and you load it up with as many of these tasty hors d'oeuvres as you can, and you also take what do you take to drink? This is white wine, red wine, or champagne.
We'll be partaking in the blood of Christ every time.
So you take the red wine and a few of the hors d'oeuvres, and you eat one. It's very delicious. It's very good, very well made pastry dish with eggs and bacon and so forth. And you're enjoying that, kind of looking around the crowd, and you notice, the usual who's who of the lights. Some of them you recognize, most of them you don't. All of them well-to-do, well-dressed, people who could afford, the $200 ticket for this exclusive art show. But you also, notice a few unusual characters. One man who is basically kind of towering above the rest of the crowd, even you, as a 6'6" guy. Go, wow, that guy's tall. He must be almost close to 7 feet. Gangly looking guy, pale white skin, bald, sunken eyes. He's standing there looking at one of these sinister paintings on the wall on the opposite side, but he's just so tall, pale, and bald. He stands out. You also notice a very beautiful woman in a black dress with long black hair and pale skin who's sitting on the steps somewhat cheekily, as she should not be doing that, on the opposite side of the gallery. And you're not sure, but you think she might have been looking at you and looked away when you looked towards her. And finally, at the top of the stairs, on both sides, you notice very intense-looking security guards wearing suits, who have earpieces, wired earpieces going up to their ears, who are wearing sunglasses, even though it's inside, and holding one hand crossed on the other, looking more like Secret Service agents than art gallery security. So you sip your drink, tastes good. What do you do?
So now there's like these security agents in my way.
They're not in your way. They're standing at the top of the two stairs. So you're in a large lobby area of white marble with bright lights and statues and people. This is like a main foyer. But on either side of this main foyer or this gallery area are large stairs going up to a higher level of the art gallery. At the top of both sets of stairs, one on the left and one on the right, you can see two guards at the top of both. And they're not blocking anybody. People are walking right by them, but they're standing there looking around like guarding.
Well, since I just got here and I have a napkin full of treats and stuff, I guess I could roll again on perception to try and figure out like what kind of shifts these guys are on, and like if any of them are like, going on fucking, patrols or bathroom. Like I have to figure out how I'm going to cause a distraction so that I can steal this painting while everybody is distracted.
Well, here's the problem, right?
And
This
roll it.
painting is not small. This painting is not, honestly, it would probably take two people to easily move this painting. Right? You'd have to have one person holding it at the front, one person. It's quite large. And realistically, this is a crowded art gallery in a well-lit area. So for you to remove this painting, just using your knowledge, no roll required, unless you have a rather remarkable plan or power in mind, it's going to be all but impossible at this point.
Remarkable plan or power. Okay, I go and I look around the place and I try to find the people that are clearly running the event.
Okay. So you want to look around, you want to do some kind of roll, or do you just want to investigate and see what you can find?
An extravagant plan, don't I?
Well, again, you don't necessarily have to steal this painting. That's you may have here for that reason, and perhaps there is some way you can achieve your goal. But the point is, again, you're in a crowded art gallery under bright lights with guards inside this building. You're not an art thief. And even if you were, you've come at the wrong time.
The smartest thing to do right now, if I want that, is I want to go mingle with people, and I want to mingle with the important people.
Well, you said you were going to look for the person who owns the gallery or something, right?
Yeah, like whoever looks like they're the most important person there.
Sure.
That's like running.
So that's a good idea. So again, you can just say that and do that, or at any time you can say something like, "I want to roll perception," or "I want to roll intelligence," to try and figure something out. But in this case, I don't think that's necessary, right? Okay. So you look around and you notice the people are mingling and drinking and talking, and you kind of get, this is the entry area. This is the opening exhibit. There's 3 floors to this art gallery, these big staircases going up. Put 2 and 2 together. Common folk are still mingling, checking in their coats, having their drinks. Perhaps the higher ups will indeed be higher up. So do you want to go up the right side of the stairs or the left side of the stairs?
Go up the fucking right side of the stairs.
So you go to the right side of the stairs, and in the process, you pass the extraordinarily beautiful young woman with the very pale skin and the very dark black hair, who is wearing a black dress and still sitting on the stairs, as the other people are kind of walking up here and there. She kind of looks like petulant, like she's too cool for this place, or she's bored with it or something. But you do notice that she seems to be paying some attention to you. And you're not sure what the nature of that attention is, but she seems to be looking at you fairly fixedly as you walk towards the stairs and past her. And she kind of smirks and smiles, but doesn't say anything. You continue past the girl and up the stairs, right, which is quite a long flight of stairs, and you come to a second gallery area, this one smaller. And here again, you see a sculpture. This one is in greenstone. It's jade. Sort of like a First Nations or indigenous type statue, but it has kind of a darker satanic vibe, like maybe a First Nations or Indian person's idea of a demon or something carved out of jade, about 6 feet tall. It's a huge piece of stone. And on the wall, again, you see a very detailed and kind of horrific artwork that seems to show demons on both sides, kind of pitchforking and shoveling terrified humans falling naked into a hell maw, in the ground. They're being shoveled off this cliff into this open, yawning mouth of hell. And as you see that, you notice there's another security guard, another short flight of stairs, and what seems to be some kind of a VIP area. And you notice actually at the top of that VIP area, crimson door with a golden number 1 opens, right? And so you notice this door open, and out comes 2 people. One is probably the most beautiful woman you've ever seen, wearing an elaborate purple, velvet dress. She has, very, very white skin. She kind of radiates light, incredibly beautiful. And beside her, you see an old man wearing a brown trench coat who appears to be possibly a heavy drinker. You can't tell, but he's got a bit of a red nose, a little bit of a haggard look about him. And he's got a little bit of a waver to him in the way he stands. And they seem to be just exiting this room. And they both kind of look at you and see you standing there looking at them. And so at this point, you have now made contact with Mr. Raffi, although perhaps I shouldn't have told you that, as you may not have known, but your characters just now happen to have run into each other.
Okay, so we ran into each other. We see each other. We're obviously going towards each other. Could I like pretend to be clumsy so I can bump into him? Even though
You're
like intentional.
You're going to attempt to physically.
I might stab you.
Oh God, he's gonna.
Well, you don't do any meta communication, right? So if you talk to each other, talk in your voice, or you can collaborate at times, right? That's okay. But at this point, you're not speaking. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the point is, you're going to try and physically bump into him. Because again, what's happening here is you went upstairs looking for who owns the place. You found a VIP area, and you see this beautiful woman coming out of this fancy office with the gold number 1 on the door. You don't know it's a fancy office, but you can see it's a VIP area and it's a fancy door.
Okay, okay. I think I know a better plan here. So I've obviously probably I think I probably have like champagne that I got downstairs.
You have 1 glass of champagne. Yeah.
I just want to like, since we made eye contact, I want to be aloof, and I'm just gonna like look out over the railing, looking at like the gala below, sipping my champagne, and I'm just gonna let him like walk past me and see like where he's going.
Okay. So at this point, we're going to pass the turn to Raffi. So Raffi, you have just exited Mrs. Valencourt's office. She is now saying, "It was a pleasure to speak to you, my friend. We'll be in touch soon. Enjoy the evening. I have other business to attend to." And she, begins speaking to the large security guard at her right side in hushed tones that you cannot hear. And you find yourself leaving with the briefcase that you were given in the meeting with what you were given. And you see a group of people admiring the artwork, admiring the statue, mingling, speaking, as well as a man kind of looking over the balcony down below at the group down behind. He's wearing black dress pants, a black dress shirt, and he has, somewhat Dragon Ball Z style black hair. In other words, I guess meaning spiky and gelled up.
I guess I go to the balcony and I sip. Do I still have a drink?
Well, you do not currently have a drink in your hand, and you begin to realize that.
I walk to the side of the balcony and I open the briefcase, pulling out one of the entire bottles of brand new whiskey and take a swig like I'm thirsty from a water bottle.
All right. Well, why don't you roll uh you have a willpower skill? What would that be? Is there something like resolution or
Yeah,
fortitude?
I have. Oh, never mind. Willpower is like a point that I spend.
Willpower is a spendable point. Yeah, but do you have an ability, an attribute, something like it could be constitution or it could be something like willpower or will or something. Fortitude, stamina. Well,
Stamina.
hmm. I guess what we'll do is we'll say you're going to have to roll an alcoholism check, right? Because your character is an alcoholic. So because you've decided, drink from this very powerful and very delicious bottle of hard alcohol, you must now roll a self-control check. So you'll get 1 dice. And if you don't roll a 6 or higher, you may lose control a little bit of your drinking.
Okay.
So a success will be
Oh, I
6
got a
or higher.
9. Sweet.
9. So you take a large, warming shot. You feel it warming your innards as it goes down, but you catch yourself before you pound so much of it that you're going to end up throwing up and slurring, whatever. So you catch yourself, right? And I'm going to give you one more action, and then we're going to pass the turn to Iris.
All right. I offer my hand out, extending the bottle to the interesting fellow next to me, offering him a drink straight from the bottle like I just did with a smile on my face.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Crimson, just imagine you've seen this old man, maybe about 60 years old, white hair, brown trench coat, holding a briefcase. He's opened the briefcase. He's taken out this crystal bottle of brown alcohol, some kind of Cavassier, and he's handing it to you. And the last scene you see before it fades to black and you pause it in your mind is this man offering you this bottle, and you can decide whether you'll accept it or not or whatever when we come back to your turn.
Okay.
And now we're
Iris,
going
it's your turn. Okay, she's
to.
coming back. Hold on.
Did you hear everything that I said there or that we said?
I did. Oh, did Iris hear that? Yeah,
I heard
Iris.
the beginning. I just missed the last part.
Okay, so she doesn't know what's going on, but that's fine. She wouldn't know that anyway, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so Iris, it is now about 8 p.m. The year is 2030. You are in the greater Vancouver region of Cascadia, which is on the border of Canada and the United States. 9 years in the future, the world of darkness. It's 8 o'clock. It's early fall, right? So the trees are just beginning to shed their first leaves. The air is just beginning to get a cool crispness, but it's still pleasant. And it's evening is falling. The last light is fading. And you have just arrived at the highly prestigious and fashionable Greater Vancouver Art Gallery, High Art Gallery. Huge marble building, brightly lit inside, glass facade in the front. You can already see with your very sharp and clear elven vision the beautiful young people and old people in their finery, dressed up to the nines, mingling inside as well as smoking outside and enjoying the courtyard and the garden outside. There's a line of people. You park your van, your hippie van. The valet takes your keys, whatever, parks your car, and you have your ticket, right, which was given to you by one of your many suitors, right? A man who was trying to win your attention, tried to impress you, in your travels by giving you this $250 ticket to this exclusive art gallery exhibit, which you've now shown up at because why not? And so you get in line, an older couple in front of you passes. The security guard, who's a powerfully built, bald guy with, light brown skin, takes your card, rather your ticket, gestures that you can go. You walk up the long courtyard past the trees lining the street, or the pathway that go up to the doors. 2 more security guards on either side. You go through the glass sliding doors, and inside you can hear piano music, live, being played by an artist in the corner. You can hear all the people talking, drinking. Waiters and waitresses are carrying silver trays with champagne and wine and food, giving it freely to everybody. There's a coat check, and in front of you there's a series of 6 large statues carved out of black stone, right? And on the walls are a bunch of huge paintings with elaborate golden frames. You know, even with your clear eyes, you can't see really what's on them from where you are, but you have now entered this art exhibit, and you're free to make whatever choice or action you wish based on anything you want.
So can I say something before I like continue? So my character, when you just were saying like about appearances and stuff, since my character has like glamour abilities, that would kind of be like a shifting thing. Like obviously I'd have a kind of like default look, but depending on where I was, I probably would like lean into like a certain different look, like perception wise, because like that would be what glamour like is. So just to be like considered about my character that they wouldn't like necessarily have a super solid look, like that would be kind of changing.
Yeah, you're a changeling, so your
Yeah.
nature is
Okay, so
more.
it's a fancy event. So I'm wearing like a like gray, blue, green type dress that's like very fairy like and kind of flowy and like shimmery and like interesting. I walk in, I have two thoughts on my mind. Like, is there like a bar, I guess, but mainly can I smoke in here? Um, Either like if I can smoke in here, I'm gonna try to find people to smoke with. But my backup is I have some kind of like weed vaporizer in my bag too.
So first of all, there is a bar where they're serving cocktails and so forth. The cocktail bar, it's on the far right past the coat check. But there's also waitresses and waiters, you know, attractive young men and women in, you know, vests and bow ties, carrying silver trays with flutes of red, white, or champagne, as well as the cocktail bar if you want to go get a mixed
Okay.
drink. Right side.
Okay.
There's music playing. You're not allowed to smoke or vape inside. However, that you notice there's some attractive young people smoking cigarettes outside. And in fact, because the character is a smoking addict, you'll now have to roll your own addiction check. So if you don't roll a 6 or higher, you're gonna have to go out and ask for a smoke or smoke a cigarette.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's probably got smokes.
Yeah.
Do it. Just do the exact same thing I just did. You got to do an exclamation mark first.
Okay. Yeah.
Please.
What number?
D10.
Yeah, 3.
She goes and smokes.
Yeah.
What did you roll?
3.
3. Okay, so you want to go get a drink, but you realize that you didn't have a smoke before you came in, and you realize you're not going to be able to enjoy this event until you get your fix of nicotine. So you step outside into the cool air, and again you see a attractive young man with short black hair and a blue collared shirt, smoking a cigarette with a also good looking young woman in a white dress with blonde hair who's smoking a vaporizer. And on the other side, there's about 4 older people talking beside a rose bush. So, do you have a cigarette of your own? Do you want to ask for one? Either way, you're going to have to get one right now because you're having a craving.
Okay. I think I have my own cigarette, but I don't have a lighter. So I'm gonna ask the blonde girl if she has a lighter. Like I might not really need one, but like I want to be social, so that's like my in, you know?
Mm-hmm. So you ask her if she has a lighter, and she smiles at you and looks at you, and her eyes kind of go wide, like she's impressed by perhaps your dress or your appearance. You're not sure, but her eyes kind of, and she smiles, and she shakes her head. But the man that she's with reaches into his back pocket, and pulls out a white lighter and hands it to you and says, "Here you go."
I say thanks and light my smoke. And I say, so are you guys attending the party tonight? Like, how are you guys doing? Like, are you attending the party? Yeah.
The girl goes, "Oh my God, yes, I'm so excited about this event. Alexander Rene is my favorite artist. He's a brilliant sculptor, and they've paired all of his sculptures with paintings throughout history that match the same theme of the Midnight Court. I'm just so excited about it. I've been waiting for it for months." And the guy kind of smiles and shrugs, like, "I'm here with her."
Yeah, like he's
Uh,
less invested.
yeah, but it seems like it's a pretty good time. So I've never been here before. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I don't know like a lot about the art exhibit, but like, anything art related I'm usually pretty interested in, so I thought I'd check it out while I'm in the area.
So you light your cigarette and you take a draw and you feel it beginning to calm your nerves and you relax a little bit and you enjoy your cigarette. The girl says, "Oh my God, I love your dress. It's so pretty. Where did you get that?"
Um, I say I made it.
She goes, "You made it. That's incredible. You must be really good at sewing. I mean, that's amazing." And the man kind of chuckles awkwardly, and you notice he's kind of looking at you, but trying not to make it obvious to his girlfriend.
I look at him back and continue to like make small talk with his girlfriend, but like exchange looks with him. And then can I try to like go back to the party now? Like,
Well, you
can I
can't.
still be done? Like, just
Yeah, but because the guy is pretty good looking, he's tall, he's handsome, he's young, whatever, he's well dressed, and because you have decided to kind of exchange looks with him, and because you also have the nymphomaniac addiction trait,
Mhm.
you're gonna have another addiction role now to not become fixated on the idea of sleeping with this guy.
Okay, fair. So same thing as before.
Yeah. And what do you want? A 6 or 7, Shogun?
We'll call this a 5 to pass this.
Oh,
D10, but you need a 5 to win.
5 or higher, you're
I got
able
a
to
6.
one way or the other, but if it's less than 5, you're going to have some kind of a compulsion here.
Okay, I got a 6, so I controlled my urges.
Okay, so you find the guy attractive, and there's a little bit of a look between you and a little bit of a charge, but you realize you haven't even had a chance to check out the art gallery, and it's far too early to
Yeah, I'll
be
wait for him to follow up later.
engaged in your usual shenanigans. So you thank them for the light, you finish your cigarette, you notice some white birds landing in the rose bushes beside the old people, and they're kind of beautiful the way they land. Something about it just strikes you as poetic and stirs a little bit of your changeling soul, which again is based on seeing the magic in things and the wonder in things. And the thing that kills you is banality, which is like boredom. So your character is always looking for the beauty in the world, basically.
Mhm.
That's just background. But anyways, you notice the rose bush. This is a beautiful place. You can tell that the lights, this area, it feels good to your changeling soul. Something about this area. It's just the young people, the energy. This is the kind of thing that changelings like. So you're feeling good. You've had your cigarette. You go back inside. The music, the piano, the people drinking, talking, the statues, and it's up to you what you want to do.
What do you want to do?
Can I get one of those, like, grab a glass of champagne, like, off one of the waiter's trays? I'm assuming they're
You
free.
can. So there's again a young man, blonde, somewhat effeminate looking young waiter with a red bow tie and a black vest and a white shirt. He's carrying a tray. On the trays are a variety of tasty hors d'oeuvres, cheeses, olives, meats, as well as red wine, white wine, and champagne. And he's offering freely to anybody. It's all covered by the cost of your ticket.
Okay. So I grab a glass of champagne. I look around to see if there's any, like, fruit. They
There's
probably don't.
strawberry grapes on the tray.
Okay, I grab a handful of strawberries as well. Maybe a little bit more than I should have, but it's only strawberries, so I think it's okay. I say thanks before he can respond and walk towards the bar to be social.
So you're going towards the cocktail bar?
Yeah.
Okay. So you sip your champagne. It's very good, bubbly champagne. You eat some of your strawberries and grapes, being careful not to, spill any juice on your fancy dress, which isn't hard for you, being naturally, graceful and dignified. And you weave your way through the crowd. As always, people are always turning their heads to look at you. Everywhere you go, men and women alike, your dress, your clothes, etc. But to you, this is just, you take this for granted, basically. And, however you feel about it. You make your way to the bar and you see a young black man, very animated, wearing the same dress as the other waiters behind the bar, but he's spinning bottles and mixing drinks and talking and joking. Very charismatic, bright, flashing smile, charming everybody. Everybody's paying attention to him. He's joking, talking to the people at the bar. And you notice there's kind of an odd set of customers at the bar. At the far end, you see a very small man, like almost looks like maybe 4.5, 5 feet tall at most. Bald head, and what appear to be like deep wrinkles in his face, but he's got bright green eyes, big smile, and what you would almost say are somewhat pointed ears, although not as much as your own. You also notice beside him a very heavily built, strong looking guy with short hair and a big square jaw, and his bottom teeth, his incisors seem a little bit long, almost like he's got not fangs, but pointed teeth on his bottom jaw. And he's big and strong, right? He's wearing a red vest and he's got tattoos on his forearms. Looks like maybe prison tattoos, maybe gang tattoos, maybe sailor tattoos. You're not sure. Aside from that, there's a very drunk woman on your right side who's literally resting her hand on her arm, empty martini. Looks like she's about to pass out. And a few other odds and ends, but those are the people you notice. You come up to the bar, you still have most of your glass of champagne. You can throw it back and finish it, or you can order drink, anything you want.
Can I throw back the champagne and order a mojito and kind of like shoot the bartender like a flirty glance?
You can. And I mean, if you actually want to try to, manipulate, seduce, charm, entice, anything, you can always do that with a roll as well. Or you can just do things through story. But if you want to actually like use an ability to make someone do something, you can do that. But you may or may not have a reason. You don't have to always do rolls either. It depends how much you want to try and get out of something. But just so you understand.
Can I see if can I kind of like jokingly imply that the bartender should like give me a free drink or like buy for me? Like, and then make like a roll for like manipulation or like what's the other one? Persuasion. Yeah, a roll persuasion.
You can, but again, it's a very high society event, and your ticket was $250, which was paid for you by the gift that was given to you by the suitor who was trying to get your attentions. And so everything
Can
here.
I play it off as like a joke though? Like letting him like if he wants to flirt with me, he can. But like But
the point I'm saying is your drinks are free anyway. Is the only.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I'll just like get my drink then, and then check out like approach the crowd of people.
The guy, but I'm just letting you know your drinks at the bar, everything is free. That's served here.
Okay.
It's included in your ticket.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll just get a mojito then, and then once I get that, then walk over to the group of people you were talking about.
The young
Cheers.
Bartender, very engaged with everybody. So as soon as he sees you, he's automatically paying attention. And when you mojito, he spins his bottles around. He's putting on a big show, and he's saying, are you having a? He says, "My goodness, what a beautiful dress! Are you having a great night so far? Are you having a good night?" And he's making your drink, but he asked you, are you enjoying your evening?
I say yeah, so far. It's just barely begun though. Like, how about yourself? How's the night been so far?
He said, "Oh, it's been great." He says, everybody's been so excited for this event. And Mrs. Valencourt, the proprietress of the entire establishment, this is her protege. She's a huge fan of him. So she's thrown out all the stops for this event. It's a huge event, biggest of the month. He hands you your mojito. It's perfectly made. He garnishes it perfectly, mint, lime, cucumber, gin, the whole 9 yards. And you notice that he seems to have poured you, a double at least. He seems to have gone generous on the gin.
Well, I appreciate that on his part, and I say that. And before I go to leave, I say, "Hey, have you seen any interesting characters tonight?"
He laughs and says, "Oh, there's always interesting characters, but, especially tonight. Not only Mistress Valencourt herself, but the Lazambra family from the museum, the owners of the museum across the street, they even showed up. And as you know, no love lost between those two families, but, even they had to show up for this event." And, he points over to the corner where you see a group of 4 people. An older woman with silver hair, an older man, bald, wearing square glasses, and 2 bodyguard types behind them, younger people wearing suits, earpieces, and that. And, they're examining one of the statues on the far side of the lobby. He says, "One of the richest families in the city. after Mrs. Valencourt herself, of course, and plenty of other figures as well. I mean, as you know, this city is full of them.
Okay, well, I'm intrigued by what he says, but I don't feel like prying too much because he didn't really give me a whole lot.
Do you want to roll perception to see if you notice something?
Yeah, can I scan the room? Like, roll perception and scan the room?
Yeah, so you can roll perception, and if there's ever another skill, you add to it. But in
What
this case,
perception do you have, Iris?
Pretty
And I-
good. Check.
so what is your
Perception. I have 2 points for that.
so roll 2
2d10.
Okay,
So roll and then 2d10.
I'll take that.
6 higher to get some kind of success.
Okay, I got 17.
What were
You-
the two? Did you get 2
9
successes?
and 8. Yeah.
So you got 2 successes.
2 successes, right? So as you look around, right? I mean, first of all, your eyes are drawn back again to the man at the corner of the bar because, again, he's very small, like unusually small, but he's not what you would call a normal midget or a dwarf. And actually, as a changeling, you feel a little bit of the Fey energy about this gentleman as well. And to be honest, there's something about this other gentleman with the short black hair and the red vest and the tattoos on his forearms. Both of them, you can pick up a bit of a resonance, like these are possibly also Fey, you think. As well, there's an unmistakable way in which all the people around the Lazambra family in the far corner that were indicated to you by the bartender, people are just looking at them with kind of like wide eyes, whispering to each other. There's a sense of drama, like people are surprised they're here, and they're also big celebrities, and there's also some sense of tension. So you can tell there's something going on with this. You're not sure what it's all about, but it seems to be a bit of an issue of sorts that these people are here. Whether that's positive or negative, you're not entirely sure. You also notice that on the right stairwell going up to the second floor of the art gallery, there's a very beautiful young woman with long black hair that's very lustrous and shiny, wearing a tight, form-fitting black dress and black high heels. And she is, standing with her arm on the banister, and she's looking around towards the door. And you're not sure, but she seems to be looking in your direction.
Okay. I find all of that interesting. But I probably should still approach the people near the bar. Like, I don't really know, like, have any other way to talk to those people yet, and kind of want to like see how the night goes. 'Cause, like, you meet people. Is that okay? Like, can I just approach them now, or like noted, or?
Do you want to approach the bald, very small man who's about
The
4 and a half?
vampire. Like, I
Sorry?
don't want to approach the other changelings or fairies now because it's like,
Mhm.
but like
Okay.
I'll be aware of them for sure.
You walk towards them, right, and you realize they are indeed together. So the very short, bald man is sitting on a stool. He's drinking what looks like a glass of, you're not sure, some kind of brown alcohol in a crystal glass. And the very large, muscular guy with the tattoos and the jutting lower incisors and the short black hair and the scowling appearance on his face is holding a very large, very black pint of beer, right? And he's kind of scowling. He seems like he's always scowling, whereas the short, bald man has a perpetual smile. Both of them turn towards you with visible interest. And the man smiles and says, "Ah, here comes a fair one. How are you, my lady?" And he's addressing you by the term "my lady," which you recognize in this case is not normal human formality, but an acknowledgement of your status as a city or a noble among the Fae. So you're aware that this is sort of a nudge. He's telling you he knows who you are.
And you have connections in politics too, right?
Yeah. I'm a bit surprised that I see someone who knows me to some extent.
And when I say he
But-
knows who you are, he knows you're a city. He doesn't know you're necessarily who you are as an individual, but he can
Okay, good. Yeah.
recognize your your species, if you want to call it that, your race.
Yeah.
You can
Well, I
recognize
say I'm
it.
doing quite well and ask him how he is.
He
And
says, well, things have been hard for our sort in this modern day, but to be honest, things could be worse. Vancouver isn't the worst place for us these days, and the lights in particular, well, preserves a little bit of the shine to life, if you know what I mean. And he winks knowingly, and
yes, yeah.
scowls and throws back his beer and seems to be trying to ignore you and pretend he's not listening to the conversation as he stares fixedly at the row of bottles on the back of the bar.
That's the guy. I say like, what are you and your friend up to tonight? To try to start engaging his friend as well, even though he doesn't seem very yet. But like, I think that might, if we start talking about his friend, it might engage him.
He says, well, for now, we're just having a drink. But like you, I'm sure we come here for a reason. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but there's big things afoot tonight. More than a few big things, I'd say. And he kind of subtly gestures with his head in the direction of the Lazombra family, who are now moving up the stairs on the far side of the gallery. He says, oh, nobody saw this coming.
I say, well, I've heard talk, but no details. I'd love to know more.
He looks at you somewhat quizzically, and he says, perhaps you're new to the city. The lights are controlled by two families, the Valen Chorus and the Lazombra. There's more than a few rumors about both, but what isn't a rumor is that they hate each other. They've hated each other for generations. Both families are rich, richer than rich, and they have long feud between them. A feud like that between people that powerful, well, let's just say there's nobody in the city who can afford not to pay attention.
Oh, interesting. I don't know, is the vampire responding at all? Can I be like, hey, how like how's your drink or something to him?
The vampire?
What?
Well, did you say the vampire?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you don't know that it is a vampire. I just said he has long bottom and
Yeah.
size. You might
Okay, well the sharp haired, dark haired guy who I'm intrigued about and have a feeling about.
You could definitely think he's a vampire, but I'm just telling you.
I have like an inclination, but I'm not gonna be straight up because I feel like that might be.
So again, this guy seems to be just perpetually grim and dour of expression. His forehead is constantly furrowed in like an angry look, and he's just like staring ahead like he's almost trying to ignore you. You're not sure why. He's just steadfastly drinking and being antisocial. Meanwhile, the charming bartender is chatting up the drunk woman on the opposite side of the bar, and now I'm going to give you the chance to roll a perception roll now. So I'm going to ask you to roll one. So just roll two.
Roll 2 d10s.
Yeah.
A 6 and a 2.
Okay. So two things that you figure out. One, as a member of the city nobility, you have some ability to recognize other fae. So you recognize that almost certainly this small bald man is possibly some kind of gnome or leprechaun in terms of his fae nature. And you get a feeling that this tall, muscular, tattooed guy, he's just got a vibe about him. And with your energetic presence, you're thinking he's also a fae, meaning he's probably not a fire, Furthermore, you get a bit of a prickle or a sense like somebody's watching you, some kind of discomfort, and you turn around, and sure enough, the young woman with the pale skin and the black hair and the black dress has sort of come quite a bit closer, and she's standing near one of the statues, and she's got her arms crossed, and at this point, she's looking at you in a way that is not very subtle. She's just kind of staring you down.
Okay. Well, once I notice her gaze, I kind of do a double take, but then kind of return her stare in a way that's not like harsh, but like I'm clearly acknowledging her and like if you want to like approach me, like do it basically, you know?
So you're gonna meet her gaze.
Yeah. And kind of hold it for a second and see if she like keeps it or kind of like goes and does something else.
We're gonna do a contested roll. So when you meet her gaze, your eyes lock on hers, and you suddenly find your eyes are truly like locked on hers. There's something like hypnotic and like otherworldly about her gaze. Her eyes are just weird, like even from this distance, like they're just gripping you, and you feel something. So you're gonna have to roll. I'm trying to think what stat you would have that would make sense. If it might be Constitution or willpower or something like that. I got to look at your
Resolve.
resolve. Yeah, that would be perfect. Is that a skill though, or is that an ability?
That's like my god, I'm dying here. Intelligence, wits, resolve. So it's one of those.
Roll resolve. So how many points of resolve do you have?
2. She has 2.
Okay, yeah. So you're going to be rolling contested roll 2. So as your eyes kind of lock, you feel yourself engaged in some kind of strange spiritual or mental contest of wills, and everything kind of gets like blurry in your peripheral vision, so that all you can clearly see is this woman and her eyes staring into yours, and everything kind of fades into this weird state. So go ahead and roll 2d10. I rolled 8 and 3, so I got one success. Okay, so you feel a fairly intense spiritual struggle going on here. Like she's somehow trying to control your mind or reach into your mind. Some kind of telepathic force is being exerted on you. You feel like a hypnosis effect coming on, but you exert your own powerful will, and you find that you're able to overcome whatever kind of mental intrusion this is. And after a moment, the woman kind of shakes her head and then looks kind of like almost embarrassed and pissed off, and like turns her head to the side and like strolls away like angrily towards the stairs.
Well, I
So,
consider it success.
so you got two. So you won this contest of wills with this unknown woman. She showed some kind of frustration and confusion and anger, whatever, and she walked away quickly towards the stairs, like she was trying to pretend it didn't happen. Now, at this point, I'm going to pause your story, Iris, and we're going to jump back to Mr. Cedric Sanchez and Mr. Kiamat.
Hell yeah. Good
So,
thing I dying right now.
Crimson. So Tiamat, this old man in the brown trench coat has opened his briefcase and taken out the crystal bottle of brown Cavassier, which you can tell just by the way it's been packaged in this velvet lined briefcase and its fancy crystal thing, that this is some kind of special alcohol. And he's holding this towards you, the bottle, and offering it to you.
I reach out, I say I accept it, and I say thank you, and I cheers to him to fine art and fine women.
And you take a swig.
I take a swig.
You take a 1-shot swig, a 2-shot swig.
Just a respectful thank you, 1-shot swig.
Okay, it's delicious. Even though it's very strong and undiluted, you can tell it's very high quality. It tastes and smells very good, and it spreads like warm, golden, energy kind of through you as you drink it. And Sanchez also took a swig. So due to the unique nature of this alcohol, which was given to you, was given to Rafi by Mrs. Valencourt, although you wouldn't know that. You guys can both restore a point of willpower, or if you're not down a point of willpower, you can add one to your current pool.
Sweet.
Okay, that deserves marijuana.
Yeah.
So you take the swig, it warms you. You feel more relaxed, more excited, more invigorated for the evening. You realize, you're in this prestigious art exhibit. You got free ticket. You have this alcohol flowing through you, and the night is young, right? You feel that energy. Um, so you guys can engage each other in dialogue. That would probably be the logical thing to do at this point.
I say, hello, Jack, my friend. How was your drink?
I realize that he knows me as Jack from some sort of other adventure that I was in where I was pretending to be someone named Jack, but
Oh, what's your name?
I go along with it. I accept the name of Jack because this is how
His
he
name,
knows
yeah, Matt.
me. I'm like an incognito spiritual angel warrior dude. So it's like
But you
so
guys
really the
haven't.
smartest thing I can
Yeah,
do.
yeah. I really did. I
Yeah.
didn't mean to say his name, honestly. I just meant to say like, "What's up?"
Oh, then what is up, fine sir? Uh, I see you're dressed quite for the occasion. I feel underdressed. I just wore a blazer and some dress pants. Didn't even wear a tie.
Oh, really? This brown trench coat with large lumps under the sides really didn't fit the occasion much. I wasn't sure what I was
You wouldn't
walking
have
into.
you wouldn't
I
have
uh
to
I,
like
I make a joke to my new friend about how I could knock out this entire gala if I wanted to.
that would be quite an impressive feat, sir. I bet you I could put them all to sleep and be able to even steal a painting without anybody even noticing.
I hurriedly look my eyes towards some guards and look back at you cautiously.
Well, the guards won't be any problem if I could put them to sleep.
Are you serious about stealing this painting?
I want this painting. This painting has a map to an ancient Templar treasure on the back. I know this for a fact from a previous story arc.
You probably wouldn't call it a story arc if you were talking to somebody in real life, but
No, yeah, you're right. Or would I?
Um, okay. That's very interesting. My friend. Do you know of any well, I guess I don't really want to ask that. Would you like to go look at some art with me?
I'd love to go. Have you seen the jade sculptures with like the demon devour thing? It was quite brilliant.
I was told there was quite a fancy show happening tonight somewhere around here. I was hoping to find that.
Well, you know what? How about saw it on the way in, so I take you to follow me, and we go down the stairs into the gala, into this seemingly like long corridors filled with art.
so as you walk down the stairs, you pass again the beautiful young woman who was looking at you earlier with the black dress and the black hair, who seems to be irritated or distracted about something, who is walking quickly up the stairs. But again, as you pass her, she clearly looks at both of you with a strange mix of knowingness, smugness, and some kind of hostility that you can't quite understand. But she passes you by like she's on some kind of a mission. But you do notice she turns her head and kind of watches you as she passes by. She definitely seems to have some kind of interest in the two of you. And at this point, she's not really trying to hide it. Nevertheless, she, rounds the corner, an attractive figure, and disappears. You are now on the main floor again, and you also notice that the Lazambra party, Mr. and Mrs. Lazambra, who you now do or do not know who they are, I suppose, since you heard what Iris said. But regardless, they're clearly an important party. You can tell that just by the way everyone's showing them deference. There's like a wide area around them, like nobody wants to get within 6 feet. And people are kind of both looking at them and trying not to be obvious that they're looking at them. And again, they're examining some of these paintings on the wall with an almost unnerving intensity, as though they're ignoring everything else and just studying these rather grisly and disturbing images on these big Baroque paintings.
Yeah, so I roll perception 3.
Okay, so call it a 6 for some kind of success.
3d10. I got 1 success.
Okay, so again, you notice the wealthy older couple examining the painting, and you look at the painting and you notice that this appears to be some kind of elaborate representation of what you can, even without your occult knowledge, which you do have, recognize easily as Baphomet, right? This is the androgynous goat-headed creature with 1 breast and a phallic penis. It is a hermaphroditic goat-headed black goat, painted black on manila white, and it has a very sinister and ominous, feel to it. This painting, even in this dark gallery where everything seems to have dark undertones, kind of radiates a sinister nature. And you notice that the Lazambra family appears to be just studying this particular painting with quite rapt fascination. And you notice just a strange pallor about them, something not quite right.
Huh. Can I how awkward would it be for me to make small talk?
With the people looking at the painting?
Yeah.
Again, just based on the fact that they have pretty intense looking security guards on either side of them and nobody else seems to be getting within 6 feet of them, you get a feeling that these are not people you just casually approach and engage in conversation.
Sure. Okay. Can I was there anybody else that I could approach?
There's people everywhere. There's people all around you, people of all ages.
Let me tug my eccentric friend by the arm and let me introduce both of us to somebody nearby and talk to them and say, how's it going tonight? Do you enjoy this gala? This art piece is fine.
So you're just going to approach like the nearest people?
Yeah, let's just approach some people nearby and just talk to them, see what they know.
All right. You approach a couple. They appear to be maybe 50 years of age, approximately, look like a husband and wife, wearing their nice clothes, but you get the feeling these are not necessarily some of the more wealthy or more famous people here. They seem to be relatively inconspicuous in this crowd of, notable people. And they've been enjoying examining one of these black statues, which again are kind of arranged in like a totem pole configuration, and they tend to show some variation of tormented or angry or sneering or screaming faces with demonic features carved out of some kind of black stone, and they're looking at it, curiously chatting. They look up with interest as you approach. You introduce yourself, and they smile politely, and the man offers you his hand, and you shake it. And he says, "Good evening."
Good evening. Good evening, good sir. Have you heard the story of my friend here? He says he wants to steal a painting by the door. And I shove my friend next to me, my very tall friend, as I sort of look up at him.
I laugh and I say he's always full of funny stories, just making shit up all the time. Oh, this guy.
The man chuckles, showing kind of confusion, like he's laughing more out of confusion and politeness than finding anything particularly funny. And he looks somewhat uncomfortable, and he says, "Well, I certainly would recommend it. I'm sure you know who owns this art gallery."
Well, I didn't even try to tell him since he clearly lacks so much knowledge. But my good sir, I here steal no painting, for I in fact work with the owners of this gala and am employed by them.
The man looks at you with renewed interest and somewhat skeptical, but unmistakable curiosity, and he says, "Truly, you're an employee of the Valencourt family."
An employee and agent, free will factor of the family, potentially. You see, they require my special skills, and I do some sort of mind altering magic to make him see bright lights for a few seconds, just something very subtle. And I say, my special knowledge is required. Not even I know what is required of me. But alas, yes. And I motion towards the briefcase in my left hand. I do indeed work for them.
Okay, so again, just to remind you how this works, anytime that you demonstrate magic in front of sleepers can only have negative consequences. So, like, you don't want to just be like showing off your powers if there isn't. So, you trying to make him see lights, like you can do that, but to what end? I'm just curious.
Well, it was just enough to show him that I have some level of power, but like nothing
Right.
crazy.
Why are you showing him that? That's an extremely powerful, like, secret. You don't want him to know
Okay.
that. I'm
Okay,
not
yeah,
trying to.
I guess that's me not really understanding the rules. But yeah, let's do everything but that. But the
Yeah, I'm not trying to tell you what you can and can't do. You can do
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
you want, as long as you understand the way it works. Like, showing off your magic to non-believers inflicts something called paradox, which has negative effects, and it could also cause other effects. You're more than welcome to do it, but just understand that in principle, you want to keep your nature secret as much as possible. You don't want to necessarily go around showing it off. You can do so, but it's going to have consequences.
yeah. Okay, yeah, let's not do that, but let's just say I'm employed for them and motion to the briefcase.
Because just remember, this is a world where the average person doesn't know or believe that mages, wizards, werewolves, vampires, etc. exist. Those are
Yeah.
not things that are real.
I get it.
So, yeah. Which is, again, I'm not telling you what you can't.
No, I
So,
get it.
anyways, the man is, visibly impressed, and he says, "Well, certainly the Valencourt family is not in the business of employing unremarkable people." He says, "I'm afraid my wife and I are simply fans of the arts, and so the kind of things that they get involved with are quite a bit above our heads, as I'm sure you can understand." And he kind of chuckles nervously, and he says, "But certainly give our highest regards to the Valencourts. Of course, we're huge fans and appreciators of all the philanthropy, all the work they've done in the lights. It simply wouldn't be the same place without them." And with that, he seems to be politely nodding, says, "Enjoy your night." And they leave, and you notice that they seem to be possibly a little bit frightened. So the couple moves away from you as politely as possible, but you get the sense that they're somewhat unnerved.
Okay.
And again, Crimson, you also can be acting at any time too, right? So try and take turns, like, give each other. If one person does something, give the other person a chance to potentially do something.
Yeah, that sure.
Because you're not together in the scene.
Oh, okay. So we're like standing together talking to that guy that he did like the display of power to.
He didn't do the display of power, but he just told them that he worked for the Valencourt family, and that seemed to both impress them and make them uncomfortable.
All right. Well, Rafi sounds like he's a pretty important guy. Pretty important guy in this scene. I break off and I go grab 2 glasses of champagne from a waiter, bring them back to Rafi, and raise a cheers to him, to Miss Valancourt.
I clink your glass and I say thanks. That last sip cost me $2,000.
There you go.
Yeah.
So again,
what?
Yeah. Just again to set the scene, you're standing in the foyer on the main floor of the 3-story art gallery. There are 2 large staircases on the right and left side. There are 6 tall black carbon statues on either side, like 3 on either side of the room. There's a cocktail bar to the left where the coat check is, the door, the glass, people smoking outside. Many people all around. Animation. Night is getting, it's now fully dark outside. You estimate it's probably about 10 o'clock. You know, this is going to be going all night long. Probably going to get into some kind of party later, if the way the lights usually goes. And so the night is young, but things are now in full swing. And the classical piano music that was playing before has now been replaced by more electronic up-tempo kind of music, now coming over the sound system.
Okay. I tell my friend Crimson, he seems eccentric, but tonight is not the night to steal that painting. For tonight is the night, I've been told, of fun and a night of art. But I do tell him, I offer him a joking glance, but with a knowing eye. I say, would you be interested in trying some experimental chemicals?
So we're going to pause, I guess, the scene there on that question. And if you guys want to keep playing, we'll jump back to Iris's character, whose name is Shimmer Lake.
Yeah, Shimmer Lake.
Are you there, Iris?
Yeah, she's coming. She was in the bathroom, but like that's kind of good.
Yeah, technically you guys aren't, at least in game, hearing each other's turns.
Yeah. Okay, come find us.
Okay. I head towards the people at the bar. That we talk. Yeah, you guys. And say like.
Well,
Hey,
you don't
what's
know
up?
where we are, but
Well, no, didn't he say I saw them like in the room?
yeah, but we moved around.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Shimmer Lake
walking around with my drink.
hasn't even seen you guys yet.
Okay.
You were at the cocktail bar with the short guy and the tattooed guy with the square jaw.
Okay.
You
Can I
just,
just like, walk around? Like,
the last thing you did was stare down that woman and have the little telepathic battle with her.
oh, okay. Well, then can I ask those people about the woman? Like, if they know her, be like, hey, have you seen that lady before?
You ask the 2 people you were sitting with.
Yeah, like mainly directed towards like the fairy dude.
So the very short, bald man with the very intensely bright green eyes smiles, and he says, "Oh, aye, everyone in the lights knows her. She's one of the Lazambra's whelps. No one knows exactly what she does for them, but anywhere they go, she's never far behind."
I say, is she a concern?
He says, "I'll tell you, I wouldn't want her taking an interest in me, and I'd tread careful where she goes. Anyone who works for the Lazambras has powerful interests behind them. The Valencours, too. They say her name is Victoria. I can't tell you much, but I can tell you she's dangerous."
Well, thanks for the heads up. Do you know any reason why she would have any interest in me, or is she just like that with people?
He laughs and he says, "Girl, I imagine people have an interest in you wherever you go for any number of reasons. You probably know that as best as any. The Fey folk," she says, "the Fey folk ain't common, less common every day. And the city," or he catches himself, he says, "those like you, rarer still." Says, "The lights is one big incestuous family. Everybody watching everybody else, everybody trying to keep secrets, and nobody having much success."
Well, we'll keep an eye out for her and others like her. Can I like walk around? Can I like say I hope we talk again? And
Yeah, you excuse yourself, and he smiles and says, "Enjoy your evening, fair one." And the man finally acknowledges you with a curt nod. before turning back to studiously staring at the liquor bottles and drinking his black Guinness ale. So you leave the cocktail bar, sipping your mojito, which is, about half finished. You're feeling a little bit warm and fuzzy because the guy did pour quite a lot of gin into this drink. And you are now, weaving your way through the crowd, and you notice again, these very sinister statues, which to you perhaps are a little more familiar. They remind you of some of the darker corners of the dreaming that you've wandered in times long past. And you think whoever the artist was who carved these must have been either Fey touched himself or maybe had somehow been to the dreaming. But that's just sort of an idle thought that you have as you walk through the crowd.
Is there any outdoor space? Like, is there any plants or anything I could take?
I mean, there are large potted plants in certain areas around the art gallery, indoor trees even, just as decorations. There's also the outdoor smoking area where you were before, and you notice the couple that you had given you the lighter and that you'd had a cigarette with on the other side of the gallery looking at one of the paintings as well.
Maybe I'll engage with them again and walk up to them and say, "Hey again, strangers. Any opinions on this piece?" Just to start talking.
The blonde girl looks at you and smiles, and they, very politely engage you again. She seems to be a little tipsy, and he looks at you with, the same interest as before, still trying to be subtle about it. And he says, "Yeah, this is one of my favorite paintings by the artist. It really shows the nightmarish sort of condition. They say he had nightmares every single night, his entire life, terrible nightmares. And they say his inspiration was painting those nightmares. You can really see, the terror in this. And you look at the painting, and basically the sky is over a battlefield where all these people are falling dead in a medieval battle scene, corpses and so forth. And overhead, the whole sky is just sort of a malignant, satanic face looking down with glee at this scene."
Well, I think the painting's beautiful and mournful, but it's a little surprising that guy claims it's his favorite painting. If it's
It was the girl
to kind of show a little bit about his character, so that's I note that to me.
Yeah, it was the girl who said it was her favorite painting, but yeah.
Oh, well then all that would apply.
Yeah. And the woman says, "How about you? What do you think of the work?"
I say I think it's really beautiful, sad, mournful, but beautiful. It reminds me of darker moments, but I can understand why you would appreciate it. Yes.
And she smiles and nods, politely, and kind of turns back, to examine the artwork again. And the man again is kind of looking at you while his girlfriend's looking at the painting, but then looking back at the painting.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I want to find a way to talk to everyone else. If I go back there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can go. You can talk to literally anybody you want. So there's people all.
We're over just looking at art at in the gallery. So make
okay.
your way there and run into Rafi and me or something.
Yeah, you're not far from Rafi and him, but you're not looking for them in the game. You don't even know that they exist. Yeah. Right, but if you look around, there's people all around you, people of all different ages, people, drinking, talking, looking at art, going up and down the stairs. Okay. Some of the security guards in black, outfits with earpieces. Most of them are just the patrons. You notice the family that was dedicated to you have now gone up the stairs. They're no longer on this floor. The Lazambra family, they've gone upstairs.
So since I noticed the girl's tipsy and the guy seems interested, I suggest that we should hang out after the party and, keep it going, keep drinking, and I ask if they smoke anything else.
The man smiles and looks at the girl, sort of hoping that she'll be cool with it, and she smiles and says, "Oh yeah, that would be great. We can totally have a couple drinks after. We don't live too far from here, in the Gates district. If you want to come back to our place, why not?"
Yeah, well, that sounds lovely. I guess I'll catch up with you guys later. Can we exchange numbers or something? Or,
She
like,
said, "Yeah,
contact
of
info?
course. This party's supposed to go till at least 2 a.m. and usually I hear there's some kind of secret after party, but let me give you my number." And she scribbles down the name Jessica and 9-digit number with area code, and rips it off a little piece of paper from her purse and hands it to you and says, "Let's make sure to meet up later," and smiles. And the man smiles, and you know
Yeah. I smile back and continue to wander down the hallway to look at more art.
so you continue walking on the what is your left side, right, as you walk away from the entryway door, past the black statues, and looking at these elaborate Baroque paintings on the wall with their big gold frames. And as you do so, why don't you go ahead and roll perception? And if you have anything like occult or anything like that, you could roll that too.
Yeah, roll occult and perception. You have a shit ton of occult.
Okay. Do you what?
Roll occult and perception.
So D2?
Plus occult.
So do I change how I take that in?
No, but like you just do
You
D
add them
whatever.
together, right? So
It'd be
the
like 2 plus
abilities
5.
abilities will provide your base roll, and then you add to that your skills. So like strength plus brawl, or intelligence plus science, or perception.
So what are we using again, Shogun? What does she want to do?
In this case, I would say roll perception plus occult.
Mm-hmm.
So presence 2 plus occult 5. So 5, 6, 7. So roll.
Or perception, though. Do you have perception?
No, we don't. I think that's what it is. It's presence.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
For some reason, it's different for them, which is confusing. But
Roll 70-10. So she got 2, 3 successes and 3 critical failures.
well, one critical success, one
Oh,
success.
yeah.
So that's three critical failures. Okay. Well, let's think. What would that mean? Essentially, you get caught up in looking at the paintings, right? And you're looking at the paintings on the wall, and this one's very beautiful. It seems to be some kind of smoky blue mountain range. At first, you feel this one's kind of out of place, like it doesn't have the same sinister connotations as the other one. But then you notice that when you're looking at it more carefully, your eyes kind of unfocus. There's just small faces and skulls in the mountains and in the water and in the trees. Everything's got these weird little tormented faces in it, and you're kind of hypnotized by this, and so you kind of are oblivious to the rest of your environment. You're just staring at this painting as you walk by, and then the next painting after it, you almost feel like you're in a little bit of like a trance of sorts.
Mm-hmm. Well, like, what's gonna break me out of the trance? Like,
Well, just that whatever you were trying to find or notice there, you did not find or notice because you rolled 3.
yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Whenever you roll a 1, that's not just a failure. It actually it has like a negative effect, basically. So you rolled three botches and 1 critical success. So 2 botches, basically, and 1 success, which then, anyways,
Is the
yeah.
bot. Yeah.
The point is basically, if you want to understand the mechanics behind it, you didn't find anything out by doing that, and not only that, you were oblivious to everything around you, basically.
Yeah.
But you're still with like the guy. She's still with the guy and the girl, right? No, she
No,
left
I
the.
fucked up.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
she left them behind after exchanging numbers, and they plan to meet up at the end of the night. Or if they can't find each other, she can call them.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do?
Well, why don't
I'm
we?
gonna keep walking down the hallway, but try to find
Because
someone because that kind of threw me off. So I want to be social with somebody too.
Yeah, because you rolled 3, critical failures or whatever. That's a reasonable time to pause your turn, and for as long as you guys want to play, we'll jump back
Yeah.
to Cedric Sanchez and Kimat. So you guys have just been having a drink and talking to this couple. Raffi told them that he worked for the Valencours. They said give their regards, walked away, and Crimson had just proposed a toast, I believe.
Yeah, and I think I accepted his toast, and I said, like, did he want to try any experimental chemicals?
Right.
Dude, I want to try some real experimental chemicals.
Well, I say, my friend, I have them right here in my pocket. Let us go to the smoking area and try them out.
You do remember that the experimental chemicals you have are now in the form of a weaponized aerosol pepper spray, right?
I do. I can work that out.
I can
we're gonna huff this. We're gonna huff this military
Yeah,
pepper spray gas.
I don't necessarily think that I want to do the chemicals in the game. I wanted to do chemicals in real life.
Well,
But-
okay, then say that. I don't know what you want in the game if you're talking about real life.
That's a joke.
I mean, we all chemicals in real life.
Even half an hour to hear chemicals in real life.
Everybody smoke a couple bowls. This would be good enough for now.
Okay, so you deny my request to try some chemicals. So do we stay inside and keep
No,
looking at paintings?
I said I think I'm good with the champagne and the oyster. I don't.
Oh, sure, my friend. Sorry, I'm a little
Right.
drunk. I've been having some fine drinks all night. Let's see if we can cause any trouble here. Do you have any ideas of some mayhem we could cause as the night gets late?
The mayhem. I could think of a few things. I urge him to come follow me, and I go over to where the guy is playing piano, and I kind of just like begrudgingly push him off of his seat and start playing the piano myself.
Do you have anything to play
do I have
piano with?
I have my fucking fingers, bro. Do I have to roll to do that?
Okay, so you're gonna go up to the man who's playing the piano, and you're gonna shove him off the thing and sit and start playing piano.
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right. Well, because he's so completely surprised by this turn of events, he's not resisting, so you won't have to, physically struggle to push him off because you just catch him off guard and shove him onto the ground, and he shockingly, cries out in alarm and falls on the ground, and you sit down and begin attempting to play the piano. Are you just hammering on the keys, or are you trying to actually play a song?
I begin to play an ancient druidic song, a lullaby that was told by ancient druids.
You sound like Wandering Library. It says exactly the same thing. But okay, so you're gonna have to roll performance plus probably dexterity. Do you have any points in performance?
Oh, let me see. Performance? Is that even a, is that that's not
It's
even
a skill. You probably didn't take any in it. So the point you're attempting to play an ancient druidic lullaby with no ability to play piano, which is
He's
fine.
winging it.
But
He's
the point
winging it. He wings the ancient lullaby.
No, you need to know
So
that I have 5 points in occult, thank you. Where else
Yeah.
are you gonna know ancient lullabies?
I'd have to play piano, so you can roll, I guess, intelligence if you want to. I guess it'd be dexterity.
I got fucking
Yeah, the
5
point is
points
you
in
really you really can't play piano if you don't know how to play piano. So you essentially just start
the
hammering on the
beauty.
key.
That's the
And,
beauty of the
yeah.
magical amulet show.
Okay, well, if you want to use your magical
Yeah,
amulet
no.
to try and play piano better, I mean, we didn't really specify what the amulet does, but I don't think it makes you
The
play piano.
beauty of the magical amulet.
No, it has to have defined abilities. It's not just a complete Deus Ex Machina. You have to decide what it does. Is it a protective amulet? Does it?
Sorry, I put 2 points in Deus Ex Machina. So you
Just
have to deal
fucking
with the
hammer
magical amulet.
No. You have to deal with the consequences of your actions now. So you shove the guy off his chair. He falls down. Everybody looks in shock that's nearby. You sit down on the thing and you began playing, but you don't know how to play. So you're just
I haven't
maybe
rolled
you
if I know how to play.
but it's not any kind of play that anyone else recognizes. So you're essentially, from their point of view anyway, just hammering on random keys. And it's not long before, two men in black suits, the security guards from the top of the stairs are very quickly beside you and putting their hand on their shoulder and, basically saying, well, I don't even know what they would say, but they're
Hold
they're
on, can I
physically, they're physically lifting you. Actually,
All
they're
I
not-
know is I'm getting a negative consequence. I haven't rolled nothing. This game is rigged.
Not really. Your action had an inevitable consequence. Like, what do you think would happen if you shoved a guy off of a piano in the middle of the?
My plan was that I could play the lullaby. That was
Well,
my
you could have, but again, you need to understand that your character can't just do anything you imagine. He can only do what his character sheet says he can do, plus whatever any normal person could do. So you could play the lullaby, but only if you had performance, perhaps 2 or 3, right? And you could actually play piano. But I can't play piano, right?
See, on my thing, I don't see performance as a thing. I have perception,
No,
intelligence.
it's under the second section. Those are your attributes. You got to look in the section below. The next section is your skills.
Yeah, so I have abilities, but performance isn't. I have do. Is do performance?
Do I don't know what do would be.
I have do,
But again, I don't
drive,
think
etiquette, firearms, leadership, meditation.
right. So the point is, you don't have the ability to play
I
piano.
have 3 points in do,
Doesn't
and
have
I have 4
Yes,
points
dude.
in dodge. Okay, I have 4 fucking points in dodge, which means that if these guards are coming up, I am fucking rolling to dodge these fucking guards and tango my ass
well,
the hell out of there.
Here's how, because you don't know what do does, and I'm not sure it is do. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call. Well, what would that mean? I'm gonna call it. If you want, you could call it do, right? Like budo. Like I don't know if that makes sense. You could just call it. You could call it martial arts, right?
It's a secret fucking martial arts just called do. It's not judo, it's just do.
Well, because I don't know what the hell do.
It's what happens when you don't allow the Jews to do the
You do
dough.
it.
But your guy isn't a martial artist. Your guy's a wizard now, so that totally makes sense. I don't know what the hell.
Scary.
But, I mean, that can't be a skill because everything is doing something.
Yeah.
If you want, I'll allow you.
I'll link
Okay, here's what we'll do. If you want, I'll allow you to play piano, and you can be like a really good piano player if that was your plan. But
I at least want to roll my fate instead of immediately getting carried out by the fucking security guard.
well, you have to understand that like roles come into play, but some consequences are essentially just natural, right? So there will be roles involved, but if you shove a guy off his piano in front of a bunch of security guards, they're gonna come.
Rafi was like, "You want to fuck this place up?" So I was gonna go play a lullaby, and then my fucking my familiar was gonna come in and fly by and fucking fairy dust everybody and put them to sleep while I stole them.
Let's just see what happens, Crimson. Let's just see what happens.
Let's just see what happens.
You can still do any role you want, right? Like the point is, like you can make a role, or you can try to talk to the guy. You can try and bribe the guy. You can try and threaten the guy. You can try and use magic on the guy.
Okay, I'm gonna use my 5 points in intelligence and my fucking 3 points in doing to fucking roll a D7 on fucking playing this piano successfully.
Okay, but so those 3 points, you can reassign those to anything you want. Are you sure you want to reassign them to piano just for this one opportunity to play the song? Because these are your permanent skills. So unless you're going to play piano like repeatedly, it's not going to come in very handy.
What would I use other than my 3 points in do to fucking play this piano?
Why
I'll
do
let you in.
I don't know? I mean, again, you don't have any skills in performance, so if you want to reassign those 3 to performance, you
That
can.
is not
But
a
I wouldn't
skill
recommend
on
it
the
unless
sheet.
you.
On
It's
the sheet
important.
I was provided with, performance is not a thing.
That's why I'm telling you, you can reassign that due to performance. That's fine.
Then yeah,
Performance skill.
there you go. Let's do that.
Okay, but again, just for this one chance to play piano, because there's 3 points you could put in like anything you want.
This is key to my
Put, put those 3 points in brawl, please.
Like there's a lot of things that'll be a lot more valuable to you
I didn't
than
even notice you guys
piano.
eventually anyways. Like,
I mean,
Yeah, Iris is gonna notice us
this is my
now.
aim. Like,
you can be a piano player. Is that what you want?
Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do it. I'm
yeah.
gonna
No,
roll
man, seriously.
3D10 piano skill. I have do. You can't just take away my do.
Beauty.
I'm not taking it away. I'm telling you because it's new. It can be
Do out
anything
of
you
it.
want. But it can be anything you want, but you have to choose what it is. So that's what I'm telling you. It could be know how to fight, you could know how to drive, you could know how to do whatever. But if you want that dude to be piano, then it's piano. But it's not anything. It's only one thing. So
Clearly, you do not understand the ancient martial art of Do.
you can call it Budo. You just change it to Budo, and then it is a martial art.
Yeah, but what if it's like a martial art and just knowing how to do things?
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Let's just make
Make up
this
your mind.
happen.
Okay, I'm rolling 3D10 on something here. I got a 7, a 5, and a 1. That's terrible. This is gonna go awful.
Okay, wait. So again, are you choosing to be a piano player for that 3 point permanently?
That was the I was getting carried out by guards if I didn't do something. So let's see what happens now.
But again, your strategy is to play a song on the piano with your skill in piano playing.
And yeah, I thought at some point maybe I was gonna be able
Okay,
to do
all
that
right. So you
because-
rolled 1 critical failure and 1 success, basically, since the difficult song, which equals no success. So you play like a not very good rendition of a song that nobody knows, and then you get grabbed by the guy for assaulting the the dude you pushed off the thing. Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing, but anyways, they're saying, what the hell's wrong with you, sir? And they start just trying to escort you out and basically towards the door. One guy on both sides of you holding you by the arms.
Well,
Can I- okay, hold on. I walk up behind the security guards that are taking away Crimson. Taking away what's your name? Sorry.
come on.
Okay, so I walk up behind Awad and the security guards, and I say, excuse me, that was a terribly poor joke. My friend was just attempting to play a song. He's very drunk. We did some weird drugs. It was all my fault. I'm very sorry. And I am employed by the Valen Corps. And please just leave us be. The party will go on, and we'll go outside. We'll make this whole mess go away. And I roll the mind forces to try to mind control both of them, just like very subtly on top of everything I've said.
Okay, so you have an arete value of 1, which means you only get 1 dice, and the difficulty to do it's going to be 5 for each of them. So you get 1 dice if you roll
For
5.
each of them.
And subtly impact both of them. Yeah.
So I can roll 2d10 and just do the first one and the second one, probably, right?
So the effect will be higher if you roll higher, but you'll need at least a 5 to succeed at all.
Okay. I got an 8 and a 7. I succeeded on fucking mind controlling both of them.
Yes, you did. So basically, you exert some of your mental powers. Now, again, when you try and do magic, you should try and emphasize, though, how you're actually doing it in practical terms, as well as
Oh yeah, okay. I pull out a machine really quick. That same mind control blinking thing. I point it straight at both of them. When I got their attention, right in their face, and I just click it.
So you click some kind of mental neuralizer device, like Men in Black, kind of flashes really quick, and then hide it back in your bag, and they're temporarily stunned, and then have a more docile attitude towards you. And as you offer this explanation, they say, "All right, this is your only warning. And the one guy goes on his radio and he kind of talks quietly for a little while, and then he looks back and nods at the other guy, and they kind of scowl at you like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And they stand there and they walk a little distance away, but you can tell the one guy's continuing to keep an eye on you.
Okay. My friend, look, I said let's do something a little crazy, but that was far too much. You really need to calm down, and I have to say I am working with the people who who own this place, and if you do try to steal that painting, we might have a problem.
All right. Why don't we go have a smoke and talk of Templar treasures?
Okay.
A smoke would be fine. I still have my own drinks. We can go outside.
So why don't you guys? You can both roll a perception roll, and I guess if you do have a cult, yeah, you can roll that too. Just roll perception, both of you guys.
Well, I rolled 5. Do you want me to roll again? I rolled occult and perception.
Yeah, just roll perception, both of you. Sorry, roll again.
I got a critical success and a critical failure.
Okay, so you just look around and see the crowd of people, the artwork, the lights, but nothing new. Crimson, did you roll yours?
I got a 9 and a 6.
Okay, so Crimson, as you're looking around, your eyes are, immediately drawn to a very beautiful, slender young woman wearing a gray and blue fashionable dress, who is enraptured in looking at the elaborate artworks or paintings on the wall. Catches your attention. There's something unusual about her, and you can't help but kind of stare at her as she stares at this painting.
Oh, so that's what's happening. I'm staring at her and I go, "Sorry, ma'am, I seem to have dropped my jaw."
Yeah, so what happened is you rolled 2 successes on your perception roll, so you noticed something important. In this case, that was, well, it may or may not be important, but what you noticed was this beautiful person who is looking at the painting. So
Okay.
that's what you said there. So is that what you say?
Well, was she noticing that I was staring at her? Because I was just kind of caught off
No,
guard.
she's staring at the
Oh
painting.
no, then let's just go up to her. Let's look at the painting, and then I don't know, just like have like a small talk where what is it that you see here? What is the artist trying to say?
Okay, so Shimmer Lake, as you're staring at the painting, a young man with spiky black hair, black dress pants, and a black dress shirt approaches and asks you your opinion on the painting.
What's the painting look like?
What does the painting look like?
Yeah.
It's a lakeside scene with strange kind of luminous animals, kind of like blurred out like ghosts walking in some kind of dark forest. Again, it's
Okay.
a somewhat peaceful
Yeah.
scene, but also somewhat just mournful. looking.
Okay. I say I love it. I say this is actually one of my favorite ones so far. It reminds me of the types of things I like. I don't elaborate, but I avoid saying it reminds me of home.
Well, I I nod and I make note of like the textures that the artist used with their pen strokes or with their brush strokes to make it seem like I know stuff about art when I really don't know anything about art.
I pick up on that and laugh a little. And try to ask you a couple more questions. I kind of pick up on that, so it's more for my own amusement, but I want to hear what you have to say. Asking you if there's any deeper meaning and why you think that. Seeing if you have any response.
See, for me, I cock my head and I look at it and I think to myself, it reminds me of home. And all of a sudden, it seems to get your attention, and it's like then there's like something pops into your head.
Okay, so hold on. You can't control what happens, what she says or what she thinks. Only what you say or do.
Sorry, I'm like super high, and I just feel like just narrating.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, okay, so you say it reminds you of home. I give you a quizzical look, a questioning look, and don't really take that bait. And I ask you, instead of going with that, I say, well, where are you from? Tell me about your home.
I come from a far off land where there are green rolling hills, and it's always quiet, and the rooster wakes you up every morning at 7 o'clock. Like clockwork, even though there is no clock.
Oh,
So you live on a farm. Um,
You could say
why is
that.
there no clock?
Why would you need a clock in a place where there is no time?
And by the way, you can assume that Sanchez's character is also here as well if you want to.
yeah. I laugh. I say, did you see the debauchery my friend here just caused a couple minutes ago?
I had a
I
plan.
said, oh, of course. For a moment, I almost forgot that was you. But how could I? What compelled you to do such a thing? I'm surprised. How did you even get back in?
It's either been one too many champagnes or whatever the hell that I drank in that extravagant bottle you had earlier, sir.
Hmm.
I don't know. I was pretty sure that what I was gonna do is gonna go off without a hitch, but clearly I just made an ass of myself. Thank you for saving me with your superior position.
Well, my friend, it was no problem really, but we were on the rope. I honestly didn't expect such a negative result out of what you did either. But the absence of a
Did
dice
I?
roll was quite abhorrent in my opinion. But yeah,
Well,
the fact that we could stay in the party was hella jazz dog, and hell yeah. So you two do seem to be kicking it off, but what do you think the whole point of tonight is?
What is the whole point? Truly, I feel that it is to appreciate great art of artists that are long gone and even ones that are still ever present. But really, the smart answer here is to really, tip our hats to the Valancourts for the extravagant gala they have put out before us.
A fine suggestion. I guess you're right. Honestly, I
so
think we should. Well,
go ahead. Sorry.
honestly, I think we should do something together.
Well, why don't what was going on in that fancy door up in the top floor there? What kind of action you got going on back there?
Well, I think that's going to be my day job from now on. Potentially, I can bring you two along if that would be okay. But I do have to say, I'm not 100% sure what I'll be doing. I can't. I will say, however, I have an Android as I pull out this large battery crystalline device strapped together around a large a large tube device. I say I'm working on an Android. I'm just looking for a suitable power source.
Interesting. Very interesting. What if I told you that part of that Templar treasure we talked about is a energy device that could possibly generate how much energy you might need?
Oh, my friend. The energy I need is stored in the building we stand here today. I just don't know where, and I don't have the tools to take it. But I will be guided there eventually and helped out. I suppose.
But if you think about how much energy there is in the building right now, that's really nothing when you look up at a sun, right? Like, think about the amount of energy that a small little tiny micro sun could put out.
Even a dwarf star Dyson sphere could create enough energy to power multiple planets for eons. If you have any power source near that level, I wouldn't use it for my android only. I would use it for everything.
Well, all the better interesting reason to find a way to get whatever's on the back of that painting, sir.
My friend, you honestly have tempted my values here with my family ties. But potentially stealing that painting is not necessary. For as I say, the painting is now owned by people who are friends with your friend. We simply might have an hour or two to look at it, take some pictures, analyze the painting. We might be able to get that map without stealing anything, my friend.
True, true, but always remember every person you tell is another person involved.
Well, I will say, this town is very sketchy, my friend. And the things we have been saying here have not been going unnoticed by the friends walking around us. Even our compatriot here, who has been drinking and smoking her vape silently and in secret, they all know and will talk, you see. We really aren't that private. I can honestly see multiple guards watching our very spot right now.
Watching and listening are two very different actions.
True, true.
So do
Um,
you guys want to continue playing longer, or do you want to pause at this point for a chapter break? I'm happy to go either way, but just give you the choice because you kind of.
I
So
mean, I'm happy to keep going. Iris?
okay, I am too. Yeah, Crimson.
I'm
Well,
sure.
at this
Iris is
moment,
in.
I to go grab a glass of water from a waiter because I actually do need water. And I you know, say that I'm going to just step out for a moment to have a cigarette because I actually do want to have a cigarette. So, I think that if you wish to join me, you know where I will be. And if not, we shall see each other again soon.
Wait, what?
I'm gonna go step outside of the building, go have a cigarette, and roll like come. I need to come up with some sort of plan
In the game.
in the game. Yeah.
Okay.
So you want some time away
No,
from us in game?
no, well, no, I'm just stepping away. I actually need to actually fill up this glass of water and smoke a cigarette.
Oh,
But I will be here, but not for the next 35 seconds.
okay.
Right. But your character isn't going outside in the game.
Sure,
Or is
sure it can too, right? Like we were
all
doing
right.
this
All right.
thing like let Raph.
Well, we'll wait till you get back. But yeah,
Okay.
because decide if they're going to go out with you or not. And hi, Shonatello.
Yeah, hey Shantella.
Hey, Constantine.
Me don't know that name.
We are playing an RPG, but we're on a minute break here.
It's been fun to listen to.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun. I want to get into some combat around the city because I know this like nightclub is like great and all, and like it's good for tutorial, but like I want to get out and like blow shit up. What are you saying, Iris?
No, I'm starting to get tired.
Starting to get tired? You got another half hour, 45 minutes in you?
Yeah, I still gotta get up. I'll definitely be like listening and doing stuff, but like you guys can also play. Like I don't. We can.
Well, you gotta
Up from that
engage. You're still
spot,
here.
unless-
You can also like
Yeah.
you know.
What?
Yeah. Well, if she has to go to bed or doesn't want to play anymore, you can also have her character just go off to that party because she made that plans with those two people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what I was thinking.
Make so you can exchange numbers as well or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'll so what did you say your name was, fine young lady, as our friend has went out for a cigarette and to vomit?
Shimmer, what's yours?
Shimmer, Cedric Sanchez, but I go by many names, including what's your phone number?
Well, it's lovely to meet you too, Cedric. Here's my phone number. Only use it in emergencies.
In emergencies, I'm a pretty well-equipped man, but an emergency to me could be a liquor run. Do you have a vehicle?
I may have access to a vehicle.
May have access to a vehicle. Well, we've all got sons-in-laws.
Yeah, of course.
But alas, you said you have a party you must be attending.
Yeah, gotta bounce.
My new friend here tonight could help me with some interesting things going on in the lakes and going on near the lakes tonight. I don't think I'll be attending any parties.
Well, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be in touch soon.
All right. Shimmer. Goodbye.
So Shimmer Lake, departs towards the door on her cell phone, calling her new friends to head off on her own adventure. Good night, Iris. Thanks for playing. It was fun. And when it gets back, you guys can continue your scene if you want.
Sounds good. I think she had a lot of fun.
And she can get experience too.
Oh, hold on. I just went to reset the bot. Keep it in.
Sure.
But yeah.
But we'll say she can have, 5 experience, whatever that means, and we'll figure that out later.
5 freebie points?
Yeah, that's what we're using right now for the level up system.
All right, Iris, you get 5 freebie points, so you can it's in the Dungeon Master channel. You can see what it means, but you can spend it on a whole sphere. You could make your captive
I
heart.
thought that's only for me.
What?
That's beautiful.
Oh, I mean arts. You could spend it on a whole arts. So like you could make your captive hearts 2 rolls, and then you could mind control people with 2d10s instead of 1, and have double the chance of winning.
Cool.
Or double the chance. It would actually be more like 1.85 times.
I don't think it's going to be that difficult. But like, I do kind of having it be like pure fun.
Actually, I think yours is a little easier to play with. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah.
See.
I got all this stuff, Shogun. You want to just like metagaming here? You want to hear what some of my planning is, or do you not?
Yeah, you can say anything you want.
Yeah. So I want to build a bunch of stuff, and I want to use the guy who I met in the university to try to get me some more chemicals. I want to build like bombs. I want to build tranquilizer darts. I want to build like some sort of machine that I can stun people in a time loop with. I want to like get some level of strength up, like gloves or something. I want poison. I want something that can disarm a gun. And I also want some like special arrows that'll do special stuff in my crossbow. But like all of that would require doing stuff in game. I get that. But like that's like all of the things that I think I would try to do.
Sounds like a good set of goals. It's an arsenal that you're collecting.
Just kill anyone.
Crossbow already, but your crossbow is just a normal crossbow, I think, right?
Yeah, but it can shoot. It does have. Yeah, it has 2 points because it can shoot anything I pick up as well as normal bolt.
Well, it can't shoot anything you pick up because.
Well, yeah, but like whatever, like I can like fit into the thing, like rocks or like a chip of like paint, a chip of glass, or like a twig or like something.
Cool.
Terms, you back? I think he was going out for a cigarette too, wasn't he?
I'm wondering what he thought like was going to happen when he played that song. Like
that got me so fucking hard.
everyone was going to be like enchanted and like clap
with no points. He was like, "Why didn't I get a dice roll to do anything? Because you spent 5 points in fucking dodge, so you have nothing to roll a dice for."
Well, I mean, you don't just know how to play the piano. You have to put points in that. But even if you were like really good at playing piano, if you shove a dude off of his chair in front of everybody and they're not going to care if you're good at the piano after that. Probably, maybe they will.
Like I saved that situation well, right?
Well, yeah,
I
you
mean,
use
like,
magic, which is always your magic. Your skills can only do what your skills can do, right? So, computer, you can do a computer search or something, but magic, should be able to think of a way to solve like almost any problem with your magic if you can get your rolls.
cool. Yeah, it's like a fun game to play when like you're trying to play for like stats and like doing like stuff. Like I think once the difficulty like really ramps up a lot and we have to like try not to like get hurt hard, like I think it'll be like cool. I don't know, like if
Any real combat or anything yet, but it's more about right now just trying to get the characters together and establish some of the set.
very cool.
And I mean, it is largely a storytelling game, although you can have any amount of combat in it. You can have lots of combat in it, but just, realize that anytime you engage in combat, you could die, and then your character will be permanently dead. You're not gonna, most likely not come back to life or anything like that. So at that point, you can make a new character, but you won't get your old character back. So just keep that in mind.
So do you think we almost died? I think we almost just got thrown out completely and I might have lost my employment.
You wouldn't have almost died, no. They were just going to escort your friend out of the art gallery.
Oh, yeah.
As far as you know, I mean, maybe they were going to kill him, but most likely not.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, whoa.
Well, I wasn't saying they were. You don't know, but in reality,
So they were 100% trying to kill him?
no, they're going to throw him. He shoved the piano player off his stool in front of everybody.
That was cool though. That's like the fun shit. Like whenever I was like, I need to like try to save this and it worked, I was like, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like it doesn't work where you're always going to get a roll, or you can't be like, I'm going to jump off this 10-story building and try and roll no, it's like you're just going to die. Like, at that point, you don't.
I mean,
always,
unless I built a wingsuit.
right? Like, I mean, if you have some magic or something, but certain things you don't, can't be done. You can't be like, I'm going to try and roll a strength check to like stop that semi truck in its path with my like hands, like, I mean, I guess if you were like extremely good at piano, you could like entrance people into just listening. I was taking.
And then you could just play it off as like an extravagant show, like shove the guy and then just play like fantastic, like kind of like when race car drivers drive around a rental car with like the driver in it.
I guess I could have interpreted it more charitably as like not literally shove him off the chair, but just like push him off. But it sounded like you meant like actually shove him off.
Definitely sounded like you meant you shoved him off.
Yeah.
There's a charger.
Maybe we should call a chapter break there, though. I mean, we keep playing if you want, but
yeah, I think we can call a chapter break there. That'll keep our characters relatively close together, potentially.
Stay together, and you found each other, and maybe got a few clues. Maybe it's a little slow, but
I think it was okay. I think it was a little slow, but our first game was a little slow too.
I was just trying to find a way to make you guys come in contact with each other without doing something just like silly, like where it happened kind of naturally. But
I think you did it well. I think there's like there's definitely a lot more exciting stuff to be delved into in the future. So I hope we can play like another game soon. But yeah.
Well, it's always like, it's about building setting and the characters and stuff.
Crimson, you're still here. We were thinking of shutting down, or do you want to keep playing?
Whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter. I was just saying I'm back because I got.
Well, we could keep walking around the party for like a little bit more. Let's see what the night does. We could go till we fall asleep.
We need to do something interesting. That's what I was.
Yeah. Do you want to I was suggesting we go hit this part of town that is apparently interesting at night because you're like kind of like you could help me there with all your dodging abilities. So like, do you want to do that?
Sure, whatever you want to go. You just
All right.
ride the sleigh.
Can we do that, Chogan? Do you still want to keep playing?
Or if you want to
Yeah,
stop too, it's totally up to you.
we can play some more. Yeah.
All right.
Are you saying dodging abilities? Dodging
Yeah,
abilities?
he's got 5 in dodge.
Why is your guy so good at dodging? I'm just curious to see like a.
Backstory
You don't
wise.
have to have good defense if you don't plan on getting hit.
Crimson,
point.
I made my backstory first, and I made my whole character sheet with Shogun like super intently, like relating to my like backstory. So I have all this like thought into all these different moves I can potentially make, and you're just like, I'm gonna dodge, I'm gonna kill a guy and like steal his piano.
Well, you know, you didn't try and kill him, obviously, and dodging comes in handy, I guess.
I showed
But
this to her, and she's
that's a
like, "Oh yeah."
big skill. Dodging is a good skill to have. For sure.
What the fuck?
Anyways, okay, so you guys are in the art gallery. Your new friend Shimmer Lake has just departed to go see her friends for the rest of the night, and the night is still young here. So it's up to you what you want to do.
All right. My friend, whose name I keep forgetting since I'm so drunk. I have a place we might want to go. Do you have a ride and potentially, and I say this very quietly and I get close to him, a knife, and I smile and play it off like it's a joke, like for an audience like around me.
Do I have a knife? Of course I have a knife. You need a knife?
My friend. That's perfect. Thank you. Would you like to depart this party with me for with honestly, it's not my
What's that?
Would you like to depart this party with me? It's honestly not my taste.
Oh yeah, dude, let's do it. Let's go smoke some of those magic drugs you had.
Well, if you let me drive, I can certainly give you some on the way there.
Sure, by all means.
Am I gonna have to roll the drunk driving test, or since I held back on that drink earlier, you think I'm good enough to drive?
Yeah, you're good enough, basically, to drive. You won't need
All
to
right.
take
So
checks.
we leave the party. Me and I haul Crimson by his hand. I spray like another 0.1 of my DMT pepper spray into my sleeve as I hop. Well, Crimson, where's your vehicle? Take me to your vehicle.
I gave it to valet.
Oh, that's good. Hey valet, where's my friend here's vehicle?
So the valet returns, your keys, or rather pulls up in your car and returns your keys to you. So your blue, what was it again? Chrysler, your blue Chrysler.
It was a midnight blue Chrysler.
Your midnight blue Chrysler, and he hands you the keys to your car, Crimson, to Kiamat.
All right. So I hop behind the wheel of Crimson's car. I turn it on and I rev the engine while it's still in neutral as
Crimson.
I spray a bit of my
Crimson has the keys and it's Crimson's car, so I mean you can ask him, but currently he's holding the keys.
Can I have the keys, Crimson? Can I drive?
As long as you're nice to her.
I'll treat her very well.
All right, so Crimson gives you the keys. Sorry, Kiamat gives you the keys. You get behind the wheel of his Chrysler. It's
Okay.
now about midnight, approximately, maybe 11:45 p.m.
Perfect timing. I wasn't sure if I would be able to make it to this tonight. So tonight in game. So I get behind the wheel of this nice Chrysler and I spray some of my DMT into my sleeve as I rev the engine slightly and offer my friend to inhale what I put on my sleeve.
I'm just taking bong chops right out of your sleeve, eh?
Do you take it? Do you accept it?
Why not? Let's get fucked. You're probably gonna screw me over, but let's see what happens.
Okay, so Kiamat, curiously puts his nose to Sanchez's sleeve and inhales, and there's a strange, unfamiliar odor and an immediate onrushing of intense, psychedelic hallucinations beginning at the periphery of your vision and spiraling and fractalizing and coiling and flashing neon multicolored lights towards the center of your vision, there to for create sort of a portal or cavity that you find yourself entering through into a bizarre space beyond, your ability to comprehend, other than in constant motion, color, and sort of an electric buzzing, humming sensation, and you feel as though you're being stared at by everything around you, even though you can't see any distinct entities. It's like the whole thing is one big eye just staring at you, and you are now completely lost in a intense psychedelic hallucination. You go limp in your seat in the car.
So yeah, I drive the car towards the bridge I was at the other night.
So you return to the riverside, the Riverwalk. You park your car in a dark parking lot. You see a black car in the corner. You can't tell if there's anyone in it or not. It's dark inside, dark windows. And you have arrived back at the Riverwalk region.
Is what's his name again?
It's Kiamat, I think. Yeah.
Is Kiamat awake yet? Or is he still out?
Yeah, so Crimson, you have been having just a strange pulsating experience inside this weird panopticon orb. It's just staring at you and fluorescently shimmering and so forth until suddenly you wake back up, disoriented in your own Christ Lord car in the dark parking lot.
I wake up disoriented.
I mean, only in the sense that you were tripping balls the whole.
Tripping balls.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing here?
Oh, here? Well, I'm looking to investigate a little bit here tonight to see what I can make of this town and honestly test its limits. But I have to ask you, how was your experience?
Well, it was like, in a moment, I was looking back at myself, and then God's vagina opened. And
Wow.
then I came in to myself.
Wow. So I asked you before, but what sort of weaponry do you have on you? Because I don't know what sort of characters we run into tonight, and I'm planning on asking some questions.
Oh, what questions do you got, sir?
Well, I have a question for you. What type of weapons do you have on you? How can you defend yourself, my friend?
How could I defend myself? Do I need to display my true power? Is that
I shove you.
is that a fundamental requirement?
I
Well,
shove you,
after you
and I
shove
say yes as I
after
step
you
out of your
shove me,
car.
my shadow familiar sitting in the back seat places a blade to your throat.
No, your familiar was not with you at the art gallery, right?
Familiar is always with me, damn it.
Yeah.
It may be,
It's fucking connected to my heart.
if you had put 5 points, maybe, but you put 4, so it doesn't magically appear with you. You have to actually bring it with you, and you didn't
I told you I should have lived in the car.
because you can't bring a cat or a crow into an art gallery, so you have to leave it at
Damn.
home.
I left it in
Damn.
the
Okay.
fucking
Well,
car.
I'm looking. Okay, so I step out of the car and I motion for you to step with me, and I ask you to show me some of your true power outside.
Actually, if you want to have said that you did have your cat in the car, that's possible because you can't
Totally possible. Totally fucking possible. I'll
I
roll
thought so too.
to the car if you want, but he doesn't pull out a knife. Doesn't have a knife. Your cat's a cat.
Yeah. So what do you want your familiar to do when we're in the car and I shove you?
I want to take its cute little fuzzy kitten paw and put a fucking little switchblade to your throat.
Knives, dude. You got to think within the game. Use that imagination, but
I felt like I was definitely exceeding the use of imagination.
That was sort of imagination full, but okay. I'm content that your cat threatens me from behind, and that startles me. And I say, okay, as long as he can fight, let's bring him along. I step out. I step out of the car, and I motion for you to follow me with your companion.
I get out, and my little familiar gets out after me, then disappears into the darkness, just to keep watch over the perimeter.
So this area is a tree-lined, forested perimeter bordering the long river that runs through the center of the city, with sidewalks on either side along the river. And, Sanchez is familiar, at least with part of this area where a bridge crosses into the other side of town.
All right.
Right. The
Can-
moon, crescent, it's pretty dark, but you can still see reasonably well in your immediate area where there's some street lights in the parking lot.
All
Why-
right.
Why are we here?
Honestly, we're here to get jumped, my friend, because I have some questions for the one who jumps us.
We're here to get jumped. All right.
So, will you follow me towards the bridge?
It's all of this sounds like a terrible idea, but those
Right.
drugs though. That drugs though.
My friend, that drug I gave you, you don't even understand how much of it I have. If we run into anybody and they cause any real problems, I'm sure I can put them to sleep just as well as you can.
Let's get jumped. Let's get jumped.
So I walk towards the bridge and I look for any sketchy individual that's staring at me unusually.
Well, the bridge is a little ways away, so you guys walk in that direction, locking the car behind you. Your cat, and again, what's your cat's name? Is sort of following along behind you in the shadows. It's dark, fall leaves on the ground, cold air. And you're walking beside the river along the path, but before you get, even a few steps away from the parking area, you hear the sound of a car door opening, and you look back to see two men getting out of the black car that was parked in the corner of the parking lot when you arrived, and closing the door and kind of somewhat casually walking in the same direction as you behind you. And you begin walking down the path.
I start speaking loudly to Crimson within their earshot. And I say, what a fine night for a walk. What lovely companions we have here.
So again, it's two young men, not young men, you can't necessarily tell their age, could be anywhere between 20 and 35. They seem to be maybe Hispanic as far as you can tell. You're not entirely sure. And they seem to be wearing some kind of black denim jackets and jeans, and so forth.
We're getting jumped by beaners.
Getting jumped by beaners. Can I roll a perception check to see everything that's around here, please?
You can roll a perception check, yep.
Roll 3d10. I got one success.
So the one thing you notice is, again, kind of glancing over your shoulder, you can tell that these guys are carrying themselves with an air of professionality and menace. And you can also see that the man is wearing a black bandana as well, which you hadn't noticed before, which you're not sure, but could mean they're part of an affiliate group of the Lucifer Sons biker gang, known as the Zigzag Crew.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
sounds silly, by the way. It's like a real thing in where I live.
Okay. So I keep walking towards the bridge, and I keep talking to Crimson. And if Crimson, you want to do anything here, jump in. And then I walk up towards the under the bridge.
So you're about halfway or more to the bridge from the parking lot, but you can tell that these guys are picking up speed. They're getting closer gradually, but noticeably behind you. I mean, you can't tell if they're trying to pass you or trying to catch you, but they certainly seem to be going in the direction or following you. You also can hear the sound of voices and what sounds like maybe laughter in the distance, not too far away, in the direction of the bridge.
Okay.
And again, you guys can both take actions. They can take turns if you want.
Yeah. Do you want to do
Wait,
one and
I'm just
one
waiting to
turn,
get
Crimson?
jumped right. I'm just waiting to get jumped right now.
Let's do a turn and a turn. So you take a turn and then I'll take a turn, Crimson.
You take a turn, now I'll take a turn.
Yeah, and if you don't want to do anything, you don't have to, but you should always kind of have a basic concept of taking turns, making choices
Yeah.
or roles.
So what do you have to say here, Crimson? I look over at you with like peering eyes.
Well, I came here to get jumped, so why don't we just light a smoke? Let these guys catch up to us. Let's see what these guys want.
Sure, my friend, a smoke. I reach into my pocket and pull the my aerosol gun device as I slow down and as I slow down on the path.
You grab your aerosol device.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you stop and light a cigarette, allowing the two men who are behind you to get in a few steps. They do, and they stop and look at you again, head cocked to the side, brows furrowed. Tall guys look pretty rough and somewhat intimidating. And they say, "What are you guys doing here at this time of night? This isn't a safe place for people like you."
Why do you say it's not safe?
They laugh. He says, "Give me your wallet, motherfucker," and pulls out a switchblade from his pocket, while the other one attempts to grab Sanchez by the chest, or rather by his trench coat at his neck. So these two guys are now, one of them has pulled a knife on Kiamat, a switchblade about 3 inches long, and the other one has attempted to grab hold of Sanchez with both hands and grabbing him on the coat. So you guys can react to this in whatever way you choose.
Can I like roll like my occult to like use my hidden magical familiar to add like a shadow come by and fucking this guy like right in the melon
To do what now?
to like attack the dudes that are trying to mug us.
I mean, you can definitely have your a familiar attack, but remember your familiar is a cat.
My familiar is a lot of things. Okay.
Well,
I got 4 points in this bitch right now.
Yeah, I know, but he can turn into a cat. He can turn into a crow. He can communicate with you telepathically. He'll have other powers and so forth. But he's still physically a house cat, so his attack is only what it is. But you can definitely have him attack. But what is your character going to do? As your cat is now, savaging automatically as they're attacking you, your cat starts, scratching and biting at the back of the guy's leg, which startles him, and he turns around, shocked. He didn't see this cat, and all of a sudden this hissing cat is biting him. So he's startled, and he, turns distracted away from you.
What do we do? We came here to get jumped. We got jumped. They grabbed you. I tried to overplay my magical familiar. My magical familiar has let me down tonight.
Okay. I'm okay. I'm gonna try to use correspondence. Can I use a correspondence device and like throw it at the guy to try to like increase the gravity on the device to see if like throw it at his leg to see if I can like get him to go down to like one knee and knock him over or something? What would that take to roll?
Well, correspondence is a magical power that basically allows you to have effects happen at a distance or remotely. So it's not necessarily something you could use to attack somebody directly. It's something you could use to.
Oh, is that forces?
You can combine correspondence with another power to make that power work at a distance or something like that. But in and of itself, correspondence doesn't really have combat application like that.
So is forces like what I would apply to do that?
Well, force could be something like electricity or fire or gravity or whatever. So if you want to,
Okay, I throw an electrical device at him with forces.
well, but do you have an electrical device? So yeah, you can attempt to discharge an electrical shock at him with something. But you pull out like some kind of electric phaser or something from your bag and try and zap
Yeah.
him. Or
Yeah.
it's up to you to describe.
Okay. So yeah. So okay. Maybe I already have the DMT in my hand and the DMT thing in my hand. Yeah, okay. So yeah, because I'm Sons of Ether, so I do have to explain all my magic like that, right? So yeah. I guess I'll just
in other ways too, but you do have to try and like explain it as much as you can.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll just try to offload the DMT pepper spray right in his face and hold my breath as fast as I can and then like back up.
Okay, so basically I guess what we'll do is we'll have you roll an initiative roll.
Which is what? Hello.
Wait just 1 second.
Do whatever you want.
All right. So yeah, we'll do an initiative roll. So in this case, I guess we'll just roll wits, basically. So you'll roll your wits against this assailant's wits, and we'll just call that your initiative for now.
Okay. I got 2 successes.
All right, so the guy tries to lunge towards you, but you're faster, and you whip out your pepper spray and discharge the aerosolized research chemical DMT into the guy's face. But now you'll have to roll a dexterity roll to see, how accurately you can hit him as he's moving towards you rapidly.
3.
All right, so you spray the thing, but it goes kind of wide because you're startled and you're kind of swinging your hand out to the side to try and spray him. So you actually miss the guy who's reaching for you, but at the same time, you manage to blast the guy who had just turned away to react to Crimson's cat. And so that guy gets a healthy spray of it into his face and neck and upper chest. But you realize that, you've also discharged the last of your aerosolized DMT in this blast.
Okay. So
Guy, almost immediately starts showing signs of confusion and shock and drops to his knees essentially and starts staring at his hands like wide-eyed as the cat's still scratching him up, but he's no longer paying attention to it. He's just like staring insanely at his hands.
okay, I pull my my electric knuckle dusters out and I attempt to just take out the person who was in front of me.
Okay. Well, so you just used your action to spray that.
Yeah.
So that was your turn for now. So this guy's gonna attempt to grab onto you. But meanwhile, do you want to do anything, Crimson? Because so far, I think all that happened is your cat attacked the guy, but you didn't.
Okay, so I would like to use my 5 points in occult to fucking cast a spell.
So what you use to cast the spell is your spheres. So
My
you can
spheres.
use, yeah. So which of your spheres do you want to use, or combination of them do you want to use?
So what I want to do, if I have to do it that way, I want to slow time and what else would be something good? I want to slow time and then do something really quickly. So like I'm gonna slow time, and then I'm just gonna like beat the shit out of these dudes.
Okay, so if you want to attempt to slow time, try and describe how your character does that and how he understands.
So all of a sudden my amulet begins glowing. You can see it through my shirt, and it comes out like hovering, and I start fucking chanting Humo Guegwe Fighty Zao, Humo Guegwe Fighty Zao, and then fucking time begins to slow down.
Okay, so you have an Arete score of 1, and I don't know why they call it Arete, but it basically means your magical power, so to speak. So you're going to roll 1 dice, and anything above a 5 will be considered some degree of success. But how powerful it is will depend on how high you roll. And you can also say perhaps that your amulet, if you want, like you need to decide what that amulet's powers are, right? Like specifically, you can use it to do all your magic, but like, what does it do for you? Like,
It is a conveniently placed magical object that gives me something to say that things are happening.
okay, but you should try and do more than just have your amulet do like every single thing.
For right now, for all I care, it can be the fucking amulet of the time stone.
Mhm. Okay. Well, but the point is, you're not getting any actual advantage out of it. You're just using it as a plot device.
That is an advantage to me.
Okay. All right. Well, plot device amulet begins glowing, and you channel your spell. So go ahead and roll, I guess, 1d10.
I already did. I'm not very happy with the result.
What did you get?
A 2.
One thing I found when I read that, you can also burn a point of willpower to automatically succeed at a magical spell.
Burning willpower. I'll burn that willpower. I got an extra one for doing something nice earlier.
All right, so
I gave you some liquor.
Yeah.
I'll have you roll. We'll say what happens when you use a point of willpower is you can re-roll in this case, and see what you get.
Another 1d10.
Yeah, let's try that.
Yes, victory.
Right. So okay. So you wave your hand, chant an incantation, and the amulet glows and pulses on your chest. And all of a sudden, time begins to dilate and slow down dramatically from your perspective. So that now all of a sudden, this man who's turning, or actually, well, the guy in front of you is on his knees, tripping out on DMT. The other guy is reaching towards Raffi, and he's basically now grabbed Raffi Sanchez by the lapels. Or is he grabbing at him? But now everything's slowed down, except for you. Your perspective